I am the greatest. I wish I was 50 years younger and I'd kick your ass. You won't do shit. Just stick and move. And just waking you up and saying, now stick and move. Keep your hands up.
Welcome to a new episode of the Stick and Move podcast. I'm your host, Trey, here with my co-host, Sam. And today we are discussing a brand new versus episode. We did one previously of Floyd versus the 80s Monsters, the Four Kings. We also did one on Tyson versus the 70s Monsters. And now we're going to see how would Muhammad Ali do against the golden age of the 90s heavyweights, as in Riddick Bowe, Mike Tyson, Lennox Lewis, and Evander Holyfield. All right. Heavy conversation I'm expecting. So let's just get right into it. Sam, who would do the worst? Who's number 5? In other words, if they fought in their 90s versus a prime Muhammad Ali, who would do the worst? Who's your number 5?
I would have to say Evander Holyfield.
Ooh,
I see Evander Holyfield would do. Yeah, I would say Evander Holyfield would do worst out of them, because Evander Holyfield would get hit a lot. You know what I'm saying? And he was open to a lot of punches. Evander Holyfield was the type of fighter that he gets hit, and he hits and he gets hit. And I just think that the way Lennox handled Evander Holyfield, the way Riddick Bowe handled Holyfield, I think that Muhammad Ali would do an excellent job, and I think he would handle and outbox Holyfield a lot better than the other guys would, in my opinion.
That's interesting, man, because I'm not going to say where I have him. I'm going to keep it for a surprise. But look, that's actually been, I guess, the elephant in the room on Holyfield. He often sacrifices getting hit to, I guess, put on, those flurries that people fell in love with him for. I mean, that's why people loved Holyfield. I mean, he didn't mind getting into a brawl. I mean, him against Riddick Bowe, who we're going to talk about in a minute. That's one of the greatest heavyweight clashes of all time. And I could see why you would say you would have Holyfield ranked so low, because he was open to that. And that is something that Muhammad Ali would love to take advantage of and use that magnificent jab and length to, put it on him. And I could see also what you're saying. So I'm cool with him being your number 5. So what made you? Yeah, go ahead.
I mean, look at the way Lennox Lewis dealt with Holyfield. Look at the way Riddick Bowe dealt with Holyfield. By no means do I say Holyfield is not a good fighter. He was one of my favorites. He was. Right. I mean, he was one of my. Yeah, he was one of my greatest heavyweight fighters. But we're comparing a prime Muhammad Ali, and I think that when it came to boxing, he'll wash Holyfield.
Hey guys, Trey here. If you love today's controversial episode and you want to see our channel grow, please drop a like, subscribe, and also comment. Sam and I are always going back and forth with those commenters on our controversial topics and opinions, and we love it so much. So go ahead and hit that like button, hit that subscribe, most importantly, so our channel can grow and we can give you guys the best content as possible. Sam and I were always uploading multiple videos a week, and we want to continue doing that, and we need your help. So go ahead and subscribe, guys. And most importantly, like I always say, don't forget to stick and move, baby.
In my opinion, just by the speed and the hooks, the way he moved his feet. I mean, Muhammad Ali he knew the ring. He knew how to dance around the ring. I think he would take full advantage of Holyfield.
Okay.
And that's why I got him at number 5.
Awesome. Love that pick. I'm sure we're going to get millions of comments on that, because when you and I did our top 3 heavyweights, which we're going to do a top 5 and top 10 eventually, which I think I might have changes on my top 3. But besides that, most of the comments that we got were, where is Holyfield? Where is Holyfield to be on your top 3? So it's interesting to have him number 5. Okay. All right. So my number 5 is actually Mike Tyson. Okay. And the reason why I say this is because literally, my man, his first fight in the 90s was a loss to Buster Douglas. I think he recouped it after that against Mathis, if I'm not mistaken. But his soul was taken, bro. His soul was taken after that fight. He wasn't the same after Razor Ruddock, both of those bouts, and then he goes to prison. And then when he comes back, yeah, he had a couple of tune-up fights, deservingly so. I know our audience, new boxing fans, have a problem with tune-up fights because they always expect you to always fight the next champion or the top contender. But he had a couple of tune-up fights. But once he had those big challenges against Evander Holyfield and then the rematch, in the 90s, it was just a different Mike Tyson than the one in the 80s. I mean, even when Customato died in the mid 80s, I think it was 84, 85 when Customato died, if I'm not mistaken, he was already changing a little bit his style. And if we're talking about the 80s Tyson, I would have him a lot higher. But going to the 90s, I mean, like you said, I mean, that's his biggest, most controversial fight was against Razor Ruddock, who had that size that, Muhammad Ali would have over Mike Tyson as well. And Muhammad Ali, believe me, I'm sorry, Razor Ruddock is nowhere near Muhammad Ali. And he was able to put that kind of fight into it. They went the distance the second round. The first one was a TKO, which many believe was a dirty fight that should have gone towards Razor Ruddock. I just think Mike Tyson would struggle. Muhammad Ali will be intelligent enough not to get into the fight that Tyson wants. He's going to know, okay, this guy is a very aggressive fighter that fights in spurts, and I need to pepper and move, stick and move him all day long. And we know, dude, Muhammad Ali in that prime era, the way he moved those feet, he would have danced all around him all day long. Go ahead.
Yeah, good. And that's why I got Mike Tyson as my number 4.
Hit
because
it.
because it could go either way. But for me, it could, Holyfield and Mike Tyson. The reason I got Mike Tyson number 4 because I always believed that Mike Tyson had a puncher's shot. Ever since how Joe Frazier dropped Muhammad Ali, I think Muhammad Ali also fell to, I think his name was Chuck Wepner. I mean, I just believed that Mike Tyson had a shot to to do some damage, even if it's the first 3, 4, 5 rounds. I always thought that Tyson would be dangerous to Muhammad Ali in those rounds, but we know that Muhammad Ali is smarter than that, and we're talking about a prime Ali. And as I got Mike Tyson as my number 4, I think that Ali would just run circles, man. If it goes beyond the 5th round, which I believe it would, if it would, it's a fantasy fight. Ali would just school him. It would just it'd be a complete schooling. So I get what you're saying.
I could see where you're going with too, because there were plenty of fights against average to below average fighters where Ali would just take punishment. And I think that Chuck Wepner fight, he actually tripped, in my opinion. There's a lot of controversy if he went down or not. I know it's what inspired Rocky and all that. But, Muhammad Ali, at times, he would, against a fighter that he knew he could dance around all day long, he would sacrifice himself. I'm not sure why he would do such a thing, but there were times where he would do that and he would get punished. And of course, win still, but still, like, why sacrifice yourself just to give the guy a boxing lesson or give the fans something to watch? But I think if he,
go ahead.
Let me just finish this point. I think against Mike Tyson, he would know better than that. He would be like, look, this guy has that one punch, that fatal uppercut and insanely quick hooks, including with the peekaboo style, that that Muhammad Ali knows he would never get into a brawl with. He would just stick and move the entire time. He would do the opposite of what he did with George Foreman in Rumble in the Jungle. He would not let Tyson punch him. And he would definitely tire him out because Tyson would be chasing him the entire time. And Muhammad Ali would sacrifice a boring fight just to not get into that brawl. That's just my opinion, though. Talk to me.
Yeah, well, I think that Mike Tyson has a deadlier left hook than Joe Frazier does. And if you would see the Joe Frazier Muhammad Ali fights, Joe Frazier landed some left hooks. Same, up and down, side. The way Joe Frazier fought, Mike Tyson had way much more movement than Joe Frazier, in my opinion. And
I also go ahead. I'm sorry.
And Mike Tyson knocked out with the uppercuts. He knocked out with the hooks. He knocked out with the body shot. And that's why I feel that Mike Tyson. The reason I have him over Holyfield on number 4 is because Mike Tyson has the puncher's chance, and I don't think Holyfield did.
I like what you're saying with Frazier. I think Frazier, of course, that was his MO, his left hook, right? And his freaking endurance. You saw that in the Thriller Manila. That's one of our episodes. Check that out, guys. But I think you're right. I think Muhammad Ali took his best shots and realized that I could rope-a-dope him a little bit and eventually turn him, like we saw him do magnificently in that Rumble in the Jungle fight, and including the fight of the century, the first bout at the Madison Square Garden. But I think he would know, you're right, that Mike Tyson has that one punch chance, and Muhammad Ali would he wouldn't even sacrifice. He would try to end this fight earlier. I don't know if you recall this conversation when we had that Thriller Manila conversation, but I felt Ali could have ended that fight earlier against Frazier. Because he was hitting him with that stiff jab, bro. And that first and third and second round, Frazier was already getting wobbled. I just don't know why Ali didn't go for the knockout. And I don't think he would have wasted that opportunity if he had that against Tyson. So what I'm trying to say is, if he's able to wobble Tyson with that amazing long stiff jab that Ali has, I think he would have keep on going and try to get Tyson out of there, because he knows he could go down by that one punch. So that's my thought on why I have Tyson number 5.
Okay,
and you have number 4, right?
So what do you got in your number 4?
So my number 4 is also, well, not also, but also Evander Holyfield.
Yeah.
Okay. And here's where I'm going to go. Also, one of my favorite fighters. I never missed a single fight of theirs back in the days. Probably, and we've talked about this before, if you want a physical specimen, like that's the way a heavyweight should look like. You know what I'm saying? Incredible story. And probably, in my opinion, the slickest, most dirtiest fighter probably of all time. Boxer of all time, in my opinion. But look, man, the problem with him is his inconsistency. There were fights where he just wasn't the Evander Holyfield I recognized. Yeah, he had the war with Lennox Lewis, but in my opinion, that one that's very controversial, one of the greatest robberies of all time, the first time he fought Lewis, I thought Lewis schooled him the entire fight. I remember Emmanuel Stewart even saying, like, this is the worst thing for boxing, when judges take over the sport like this. And he couldn't, and on the revenge fight, the back-to-back fight, Lewis just dominated that fight completely. He lost against Reese. He lost against James Toney, made him throw in the flag. And James Toney is a great defensive fighter, probably top 5, top 10 defensive fighter of all time for sure. And I think that's where Muhammad Ali would take advantage. I think Muhammad Ali would actually fight him the same way he would fight Mike Tyson. Just use the ring for defense, pepper him to death, and use that jab. And I think I can honestly see Evander Holyfield going down multiple times. And since it was the 90s, it would be one of those 3-down knockdown rules that they used to do a lot in the 1990s. I loved Evander Holyfield. This hurts me because, I'm trying to be biased, but I can't be biased on this. That's what you and I take pride on this podcast. But Muhammad Ali, man, I think this fight would end in 7 to 9 rounds.
Wow.
And I think it would be, if they were to go the distance, I think it would be a perfect shutout, to be honest with you. But that's why I have Holyfield number 4. Yeah, bro.
And
Go ahead.
those reasons that you just said is the reason why I have Holyfield number 5. I just feel that Mike Tyson, as I had him on, I got him on my number 4 as because I believe that Tyson had that puncher, chance,
Right,
to
right.
knock down Muhammad Ali, do something like that. But yeah, man,
Yeah,
I agree with everything.
too close to that one puncher's chance. Holyfield wasn't really that knockout artist. I
No,
know
no.
that's gonna be a hot topic on the comments. And bring them on, by the way, bring them on. We love to talk to you guys on the comments. But I will say this, man. Holyfield took pride. That whole warrior mentality. He took pride on working the boxer down, grinding him to a nub of a perfect pool cue ball where
Mhm.
there's no grit anymore. He took pride in working down boxers. And Muhammad Ali, we saw it in the Rumble in the jungle where he could take those hits and then eventually school you with his mentality.
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
who is your number? We'll leave it at that. A number on Holyfield. Who is your number 3 at
My
that?
number three is Riddick Bowe.
Okay.
My number
Okay.
three,
Talk to me.
yeah. My number 3 is Riddick Bowe because Riddick Bowe went back and forth with Holyfield. I think that Riddick Bowe had one huge shot, and it was his right arm, his right
Mm,
hand, and I think that Muhammad Ali, what he did to George Foreman, in my opinion, George Foreman, in his prime, George Foreman in his prime was a better fighter than Riddick Bowe, in my
okay.
opinion. And
Hmm.
George Foreman was fighting, top tier level fighters, man, in those days. And with the Joe Frazier knockout, the guy was a killer. And I just
Hmm.
think that style is the style that Muhammad Ali knows best. He
Right.
knows that Riddick Bowe, the big, heavy guy, Muhammad Ali showed us time and time again that he can control those type of fights and those type of fighters. He would
Hmm.
slow him down, tag him, move, use the ropes. Muhammad Ali had great footwork. That's why Muhammad Ali's the greatest. The guy was just smart. It's like you said earlier. Muhammad Ali will let you win the first 10 rounds. He knows that you're tiring out. He knows
Hmm.
that he's going to finish you at the end. I think he was just too smart for Riddick Bowe, and that's why I got Riddick Bowe as my number 3. And I had to
Okay.
have him. I had Riddick Bowe over Mike Tyson and Holyfield. Why? Because Riddick Bowe beat Holyfield, and I believe he would crush Mike Tyson.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I know that's a different conversation, but if Riddick Bowe and Mike Tyson, that was the fantasy fight we wanted to see in the
Mm-hmm.
90s. And I honestly think that Riddick Bowe, that would have been a schooling from hell. But I'm cool with him being your number 3. Got him number 3, right? Um, Look, and you're right. Muhammad Ali is that guy. We've
Yeah.
seen boxers like Riddick Bowe, huge, big, brawling types. I mean, I wouldn't say Bowe was much of a brawler, but he's fought that kind of fighter before, and I could see why you have him number 3. But I could not go with him number 3. I would have to go with Lennox Lewis number 3.
Mm.
Now, this is going to get a lot of hate because also on that top 3 heavyweights, I would say 90% of the people that had different lists than we did all included Lennox Lewis.
Mm.
But here's what I'm going to say, man, about Lennox Lewis. Phenomenal fighter, extremely underrated. I think the fact that he was a British fighter made a lot of American boxing fans like just automatically tune out. He wasn't that exciting of a fighter because he was very well disciplined, but at times, bro, and we saw it with Oliver McCall, we saw it with Hasim Rahman, he would leave himself open. He would expose himself. He would get lazy. Now, I do think because it's a high profile fight, we would see the best version of Lennox Lewis, of course. I would hope so. But sometimes bad habits are bad habits for a reason. And I honestly think Muhammad Ali would pick that up in training, watching film, see that Lennox Lewis is always dropping his guard, and work the feint on him. and work, not only work the feint, but connect on that jab. And look, Lewis was, in my opinion, a little too flat-footed for me, for my taste. Was he actually flat-footed? No, but he fought flat-footed. He had no bounce to his defense, to his guard, and that's where Ali, in my opinion, would run laps around him. Like we said with Mike Tyson, he would stick and move. I think he would do the same. He would know how to fight this guy. He wouldn't get in a phone booth with him. Most heavyweights don't really get into phone booths, but I think he would not do the rope a dope. I think he would use his foot movement and actually make Lennox Lewis uncomfortable. Because let's face it, all these guys we're talking about, Tyson, Holyfield, we could even go to Galata, we could go to Reese, we could go to other heavyweights at the time. There's so many more. I just can't think of it right now. They were usually that slow-footed, big-handed boxers, heavyweight boxers that Muhammad Ali would love to have fought his entire career. And Lennox Lewis was no exception. The only exception that Lewis had was that he was smart, in my opinion, and strong, of course. Don't get me wrong. But I just think Muhammad Ali was smarter, and combined with this defensive, feinting, pull his neck back defense that he always did, I honestly think that Lewis would get frustrated, and because of that frustration, be forced to fight a fight he doesn't want to fight, and Muhammad Ali would take advantage and take him down. I don't think he'll knock him out. I think that would go the distance, because I think Lewis's size would be too much. But I just think it would be one of those 10-2, 11-1 kind of fights.
Yeah, okay.
So that's my thoughts on that. So you got any thoughts on that?
No, I agree, because I'm going as Lennox Lewis as being my number 2. Lennox Lewis is my number 2. Let me tell you something about Lennox Lewis. I've been watching more and more about, maybe a few fights that, wow, I completely missed Lennox Lewis had. He has probably the best, and I'm going to get criticized for this. For me, as a heavyweight, Lennox Lewis has one of the greatest resumes, bro. This guy fought everybody. Lennox Lewis fought everybody. And he's a great boxer. And this is why I think Ali would beat Lennox Lewis. Lennox he drops his hands a lot.
Okay.
And there's moments in the fights where he gets a little lazy. Okay. His timing of distance from a fighter could be off many times. And that's why he gets hit. He got in a brawl with Holyfield. Yes, he beat Holyfield, but he took a lot of unnecessary punishment. The fight he had with Oliver McCall, the fight he had with Ray Mercer, Ray Mercer landed some shots on him, bro. Hasim Rahman, first fight, just he didn't calculate the distance. Rahman came with a huge hook and knocked him out. And I think that's where Muhammad Ali would take complete advantage of Lennox Lewis, bro. He would take advantage of Lennox Lewis. Was not a fast boxer. He wasn't he wasn't known for his speed. He was known for his being talented when it came to box, but he didn't have a lot of speed in him. And but he got hit a lot. And I just think that Muhammad Ali is way too fast, moves around way too much. And, Muhammad Ali was fighting 15 rounds, bro. And I just think that the IQ of Ali was over the top. It'd be too much for Lennox Lewis. I would see Ali knocking out Lennox Lewis in the late rounds.
I want to go to Emmanuel Stewart. Okay. Emmanuel Stewart, probably my favorite HBO commentator of all time. Okay.
And trainer.
And trainer. But that was the Kronk Gym philosophy. You saw it with his boxers, going with Hitman Hearns. They would sacrifice getting hit to throw their best punch. And and Lewis did the exact same thing. Was he a little bit more disciplined? Yes, he was. But like you're right, he never fixed those fatal flaws in his career, which is why he has one of the most iconic knockouts of all time. You and I need to do a top 3 greatest knockouts. I can't believe I haven't done that yet. But he's probably on one of our lists. And look, bro, that's where film and study for Muhammad Ali would come in. Of course, it's fantasy, of course, but I think like I just said, Muhammad Ali would pick up on that. I don't know if Emmanuel Stewart, yes, he would. He's one of the greatest trainers of all time, would train him differently. And I think Emmanuel Stewart would say something like, "You've fought against guys that hit harder than Muhammad Ali." And I think that's where Lennox Lewis can get exposed. And like you said, I don't want to say get lazy, but leave himself open. So I'm okay with him being number 2. I mean, I'm number 3. You're number 3. No, you're
No,
number
no,
2.
my number 2. My number 2.
Yeah.
Now we're going to your number 2.
So my number 2 is it Ali? Do I think Bo would beat Ali? No. So I actually have Riddick Bowe. And everything you said is right. No surprises. Ali has fought that kind of boxer his entire career. But here is the difference, bro. Eddie Futch. Eddie Futch knows Muhammad Ali very well. He knows that the fight that he had with Frazier, he had it. It came down to endurance and those last 6 minutes of the 13th and 14th round. And I honestly think, now, I know what you're going to say. Riddick Bowe could get lazy. He had overweight issues. But if we're talking about a peak condition, Riddick Bowe, where he was hungry, not for steak, but hungry in the ring, I think Eddie Futch would train him how to find those consistencies that Muhammad Ali would always do to trick his opponent and get him out of there, and train him how to defend himself against a guy like Muhammad Ali, to make Riddick Bowe, be patient in the ring. That's actually what I liked about Riddick Bowe. Yes, he had classic bashes with Evander Holyfield. Evander Holyfield and him, part 1 is one of the greatest fights of all time. But I honestly think, man, Eddie Futch would train him well, and with Riddick Bowe's style, I like his style. I like his power, his intelligence, and his white pony shorts that I've always loved. I think that he would give a better chance out of all the rest than anybody else. So that's why I have him my number 2. Go ahead.
All right.
I know you guys want to say.
No, I just wanted to get, because you were building up Riddick Bowe to be some invincible god already. I thought.
Well, he only has one loss.
Well, I mean, what happened to him? Why couldn't he continue fighting?
Well, you're right. He wasn't disciplined outside the ring. Okay.
Yeah.
But that's why we have this list. We're talking about the best 90s version of Mike Tyson, the best 90s version of Lewis, and so on. The best version of Riddick Bowe would still come down if he was to fight Mike Tyson. If he was to fight Muhammad Ali,
prime versus prime,
he would give Ali the best fight out of all of them. And look, bro, he was supposed to fight Lennox Lewis, but his trainer, Rocky Newman, stopped it, So that would have been a good measuring stick for this whole entire conversation.
Yeah.
But bro, dude, he dominated Evander Holyfield. Like that's one of Evander Holyfield's one of his worst losses of his career, probably besides James Toney, where actually made him throw in the flag. Riddick Bowe, he had a great jab, and he was disciplined and relentless at the same time. It was hard. The only way you got him down is if you hit him in the nuts like Andrew Galata did, causing a freaking riot in the ring. Galata walking to the locker room and people throwing their drinks on him. That's the only way you're going to get down Riddick Bowe. I don't think Muhammad Ali would knock down Riddick Bowe. I think they would go the distance too, but I could see a 7-5, 8-4 kind of fight. So
Okay.
talk to me.
No, I get what you're saying. You're talking one moment
Mm-hmm.
of Riddick Bowe's career.
I don't know.
Muhammad,
One moment, man.
one moment of Riddick Bowe's career. Muhammad Ali has been carrying this fucking crown. Sorry about my language, but Muhammad Ali's been holding this crown his entire career, man. The guy was just a legend. I mean, I get it. I get it because you're giving your list would give Muhammad Ali the hardest time, the toughest time, and you're saying a prime Riddick Bowe would give Muhammad Ali the best fight. That's fine.
Mm-hmm.
I just feel that the weight, the lunging of the punches that Riddick Bowe would throw, I just think that Lennox Lewis, being a sharper boxer, would have done more. Would have given Ali a better fight, in my opinion. Prime versus prime.
All right, so obviously we both have Ali number 1. I'll give you go ahead and go for it, man.
Yeah, Ali was just I mean, out of all the heavyweights I've ever seen in my life, and what I've seen with Ali, the history, the guy was just really smart, man. Right. I mean, the guy, his style, the way it was pretty much he scripted the fight. He knew exactly what was going to happen before it happened. I mean, the guys he fought with the Sonny Liston, the Ron Lyle, and Joe Frazier, George Foreman. I mean, the guy was just a smart, footwork, speed, endurance, the IQ, Angelo Dundee, the fans. I mean, the guy carried the sport on his back. And, it is what it is. He's the greatest, and there's nobody better than him.
I can't say it any better. I think his defense is often overlooked. And he created that style. It was like a blend of Mayweather and Roy Jones Jr. always fading back kind of thing. It was that kind of blend. So you could say he's the father of that. But there's never really been another boxer like him. You and I get comments that he was overrated, that he shouldn't be on there because he fell down to a couple of mediocre fighters.
Mm-hmm.
And I think those were glorified sparring matches that he underestimated. But when it came to the biggest lights, besides the fight of the century, his first major fight after his suspension, I think he had like 2 or 3 tune-up fights at that time. He's always showed up at the biggest time. Always has. And I think against these big fighters that we're talking about today, I think he would do the same. I think he would show up, put on a memorable classic that we've never seen before, or something that we can always talk about. So to wrap that up, I just think Ali would be too much. I think his fighting style transcends time. If we're going to talk about Marciano, that's a different, time period, which we're going to have to do one on him eventually. So that is why I have Ali number 1. I think his fighting style is good even to this day. I think the heavyweights, even to this day, would have a hard time with Muhammad Ali.
Exactly.
I think that's what makes him so great, or his nickname the greatest, because he's timeless, in my opinion. So if I wanted to give him a nickname, that would actually be his nickname, Timeless. That's just my opinion. Mm-hmm. So you got any final words before we sign off?
No, that's it. Just, Ali's the greatest for a reason. I mean, and another thing I want to throw real quick, and his chin is underestimated too. Right, the guy took some damn shots, man. From really powerful people, but the guy carried the sport. He carried the sport, man. He and that's why he's the greatest too.
Right. Oh, definitely. 100%, man.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So to our viewers out there, guys, we can't thank you enough for all the comments, all the love, all the attention you guys are giving us. It means the world to us. So keep the comments coming. Tell your friends to subscribe so it can help us grow. And you guys can get updates on new episodes. If you want to get in contact with Sam and I through the comments, I am at the Stick and Move podcast, while Sam is at Stick and Move Sam. So you get a personal message from one of us. We're always trying to comment back. to as many people as possible. Sometimes it's overwhelming, but we appreciate that. We appreciate every single one, whether you agree with us or disagree with us or call us smart or call us dumb. We appreciate everything, guys. So we'll leave it at that. And like I always say, don't forget to stick and move, baby.
I am the greatest. I wish I was 50 years younger and I'd kick your ass. You won't do shit. Just stick and move. And waking you up and saying, now stick and move.